All right, everybody, we're here with none other than the famous, infamous Ran Weathers down here in New Mexico, Albuquerque. We just came down to get a little FaceTime with Ran, and I just wanted to ask him a few questions, because I know the Colorado fans will be missing you. So,
I miss them too.
Well, what have you been up to, man? Like, what since the last time we saw you in Colorado, can you talk about maybe a few of the fights that you've had and just kind of like how the training's been and everything?
Training's great down here. Train twice a day. Some really good guys. Don't really have much of a life. Just focus on training, and had about 3 or 4 fights since the last time I fought in Colorado. Won all but one. Lost a decision. I don't really understand how I lost it, but it was the other guy's hometown. So there you go. And that's it. Just getting ready for this fight in a couple weeks. Hopefully this will be my last fight unsigned, and then beat this kid and go on to the next level.
Talk about that fight a little bit. Who's your opponent? Where's the fight? And kind of how do you see that playing out?
I'm fighting a guy named Phil Cardella. I'm fighting him at Shark Fights in Texas. He's a WC veteran, and he owns his own Gracie School. Really, really good jiu-jitsu guy. Really good black belt. And so obviously I'm not wanting to go to the ground with him at all, if it's up to me. The plan is just to the plan is to expose his striking. I don't think he's as good a striker as I am, and so that's the plan. I don't want to go to a decision because I just lost that last decision in the other guy's hometown. So this guy being from Texas, I definitely don't want it to go 3 rounds. I'm gonna try to finish him in the first,
cool.
if it could be.
Definitely. So, let me ask you, I know you've been down here at Jackson's for a while. You lived there at the gym for the first year that you were here. And, how instrumental has that been to just kind of like your development and your growth as a fighter, training under such a notable coach and with such notable training partners?
I think it changed my life, man. I think that it definitely allowed me to go the next step in my career. And I think I needed it. It's like a blessing in disguise, Couldn't be happier.
So let me ask you this: what's the in a perfect world, what happens for Ran in the next year? Like, what do you see happening in the next year? If you got to design exactly what would take place.
I like to think I have a play in that too. And I beat Phil Cardella in 2 weeks, and get signed after that. I don't see me beating him and having to wait too much longer to get signed.
Right.
So.
And like, what organizations would you like to be signed by? NE or anything in particular?
I want Japan. I want Dream.
Yeah?
I want Dream.
You want to go overseas?
Yeah, that's what I want. But the thing with Japan is, it's all Japanese people except for a few Americans. So with the selection being smaller, you got to kind of put a little more work.
Right, you got to break in.
Right. Realistically, I'm going to have to go to a WEC or a Strikeforce first.
Right.
But in the end. Dream is what I want.
Nice. Okay, cool. And, the other thing I was going to ask you about is, like, you're always kind of known for having a, kind of an out there personality when you do your interviews and, kind of post-fight things and everything like that. I mean, and I know you personally, and I know, you're definitely a fun, kind of crazy guy to be around. And, how do you balance that with, trying to be a spokesman for the sport, or how does that play out in your mind?
I don't think I balance it too well,
No, you just do you, huh?
Yeah, I have momentarily lapses of reason, like I'll just kind of forget the rules of life for a couple minutes every now and again. I just fought in Colorado actually 2 or 3 months ago. I was fighting some Mexican kid, and after the fight, he was yelling because I won.
Right.
And his friends were yelling a bunch of stuff at me. I kind of lost it and yelled some racial stuff. Almost got stabbed that night. Thank God I got out of there. Okay. But the point being, I just get caught up in emotions, and it's easy to sway me.
Yeah.
But in the end, after it wears down, it goes away.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Okay. So, what's your most memorable fight moment?
I'd say my last fight.
The one you lost?
No, I lost that one, and then I took a fight like 2 weeks later.
Oh yeah.
Against this, it was a really tough fight. I was in Texas, some Brazilian kid, and I was really depressed about the loss because I didn't feel like I had lost, and my manager said, hey, I got this fight with this kid in Texas in a couple weeks if you want it. So I took it just to move on past the loss, and right before the fight, I found the guy was not 2-1. He was 11-2. And he was a brown belt from the Nogueiras. So it kind of messed with my emotions, and So in the fight, it was a pretty close fight, and with about 5 seconds left in the round, I knocked him out. And
Oh, nice. How'd you knock him out? What kind of, did you catch him with a strike, with your hands or your feet?
Yeah. I had reach, so we had been working to use my reach, and in the fight, he was, man, I've never been kicked so hard in my life.
Yeah.
And he was trying to knock me out, and I remember hearing the 10-second tap, and I was like, all right, now I should try. And before I could, he threw a flying knee at me, and then followed with a kick. So I was like, well, fuck it, here's nothing, and somehow it knocked him out, and thank God, because I honestly, I don't think I would have won that fight if I would have had to keep going. So somebody was looking out for me.
Well, I think that's you because, like I said, I know you personally, and I know that you're the kind of person that, like, even when you're down, I don't even think that even really crosses your mind as much as that you got something that you're trying to do, And, I've always respected that about you as a fighter, and I think, most people who followed your career at all respect that as well. What do you... what is there anything that you'd say out there to anybody, the young fighters and stuff who might be trying to come up, and who come from, checkered past like yourself and stuff? How would you tell those guys, to get focused and get going with what they're trying to do?
Now, I would definitely say that this sport for those kids is definitely a chance to turn your life around. It definitely saves a lot of lives. Definitely, I would say that if you're wanting to do this, don't get in just to say you're a fighter. Because what y'all don't understand is all the stress that comes along with this sport, all the weight that's on your shoulders. So if you're gonna do it, make sure you're doing it because in a way you need it. Be careful what you sign up for. A lot of guys these days want to be a fighter and they want the recognition and the attention, but they don't know the strings that come along with this. A lot of training. A lot of eating stuff you don't want to eat.
A lot of not eating stuff you want to eat.
A lot of sitting at home, doing nothing, having no life. There's so many sacrifices. Unless you just want to get your ass kicked every single fight. There's a lot of sacrifices. So don't just do it because you want to tell people you do it. Do it because it's something that you really, really need in you,
All
right. It's kind of weird, but.
No, that's cool. It makes tons of sense. Like I said myself, I can definitely relate with what you just said. And then, last but not least, is there any people and sponsors or anything that you want to thank?
Definitely. Let me think. Tap Out, because those guys have stuck with me for a minute, man. They stuck with me. They were with me in ATT. They were with me at Jackson's. I know that when Mass passed, they kind of got set back financially and had to let some people go, but they've been really faithful to me, so I owe them my respect and my loyalty. Also, Max Muscle Rio Rancho is my supplement sponsor. That's it. In my gym, all my training partners. The cool thing about Jackson's is they don't just do it to do it. I got guys that will drive to come to a fight just to support me. Guys that offer to help me. It's like they have good hearts here. So I appreciate all that. I wouldn't be or have anything I have now without my teammates just being good people.
Cool. And then, okay, one more question. If you could fight any celebrity, who would it be?
Wow, that's a good one.
and not necessarily because you think it would be a good fight, but maybe just so you could beat them up. Like, who would you want to beat up?
There's about 30 rappers on that list already.
Who's at the top of that list?
On the top of that list.
Yeah, like if we could I could say, surprise, around the corner is so-and-so, and you get to fight them right now in this parking lot. Who would it be?
Wow. Oh, man. I'd say any rapper from Atlanta because I think they're all racist.
Yeah?
Yeah, any of those guys. That sounds really bad and we're on camera. So, I don't know. I'm not really a hater of people who are celebrities. You got it, so I'm not going to hate on you. I don't look at people who have money or fame and be like, damn, yeah, of course I want that. But shit, they did what I didn't, so more props to them. I just don't like it when people who have celebrity status or have attention use it to belittle or talk down to people.
Right.
So I'd like to fight those guys.
Right. Like Spencer from the Hills?
Yeah, that guy that all of a sudden was a black belt jiu-jitsu world champion after one episode on TV.
Right, exactly. Well, cool. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to big things from you in the future. And and I'll keep bugging you with phone calls and texts every now and then, and linking up with you down here in Albuquerque, man. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, thank you guys, man. Thank you guys.
All right.